This is the 20th day of June 2022, and we're here on Williamstown Bog, County Westmeath, not too far from Ivor, Ireland. And I'd say this is the last days of turf being cut this way and harvested and that. This is hopper turf, it's called. It's dug out of the turf is dug out of the bog up there and put into a machine that extrudes it out into those rows, and we get it off to dry it, get it off the ground and clamp it up like that. Footings they're called. And that, but the first time I came across cutting turf was back in the mid 1950s, and at that time it was cut with a sleigh, and it was a big operation. 2 men cutting, and a horse and 2 turf bogies, and that system died out. Bord na Móna started developing the bogs, and you could buy a load of turf. There was turf. Tommy Rooney and Billy Martin had lorries, and you could buy a load of turf cheap enough, and it wasn't worth going to the bog to do this laborious work. But back in the Isle was cheap enough in the 60s and along there, and people started building houses with no chimneys and that. But war started out in the Middle East there, I think, between Egypt and Israel, and the Suez Canal got blocked, and I got very dear. You couldn't get it, and there was a kind of a rush back to the bogs at that time. I used to go up to Lee Monaghan. It's between Ballycumber and Ferban. Silage began to come into being, and farmers got bigger trailers and they'd go up and draw a load themselves. But when I started going first, there'd be very few people up. There were very few tractors and trailers, and they'd be picky about the turf that was coming in. But when the oil crisis struck, there'd be a queue of tractors and trailers, quarter of a mile coming in from each side, and a bit of argy-bargy at the gate whose turn was to get in. So people came back to their bogs again, and they started cutting sausage turf at first, and then hopper turf that took off. And Bord na Móna, the Lee Monaghan bog closed, and they started drawing turf from Coolnagun. It's between Multifarnham and Cool. It was a good journey. But now I think we seem to be coming to the end of the bog turf as fuel. We're supposed to be causing climate change and all that, but before the First World War, people used to get wagons of coal from, to get them to be brought down from the docks in Dublin down to the railway station in Streamstown. That's between Mullingar and Athlone, the great Midland and Great Western Railway. And but after the First World War, coal got dear, and that stopped too. And that people had big ranges in their house, that coal ranges they call them. George Knight told me one time that when he was a young lad, had to pitch coal out of a barge that came down from Dublin with a load of coal for Barnestown House, Ballycarriga. And similarly, that pre-First World War time, people were burning a lot of coal, but I don't know where we were going to go. This retrofit is but I think we'll have to have some fuel, and there doesn't seem to be anything reliable coming up to replace it. That's it now.